Greetings. Great getting up in the day morning. It's Doc Ock at noon. You know how we go. You know how we do it every day. Doc Ock at noon and 9. Trying to make everything fine. We started the story yesterday. We didn't get a chance to finish it. Had a few technical difficulties, but we hopefully will not have those difficulties today. I'm hoping. Let me read the proverb of the day first. Let's see what we got. I think we got a proverb. I'm pretty sure we got one today from Ethiopia. Confiding a secret to an unworthy person is like carrying grain in a bag with a hole. Confiding a secret to an unworthy person is like carrying grain in a bag with a hole. Ethiopian proverb. So we'll see if that applies to the story today. Enough said. I don't explain them. I just drop them like they hot. Absolutely. It's up to you to explain it to yourself. So yesterday, the story was John the Conqueror. So this is John the Conqueror part 2. And John had told his master that if master killed John's mule, he bet he'd make more money than master. So master killed John's mule. John skinned the mule, went to town, came back with a wad of money that could choke a horse. Master was shocked. Couldn't believe it. How this nigga do this shit. Okay. So he says to him, Master's eyes got real big. He had more money than he knew what to do with. But you know how greedy some white folks are? They got cash registers instead of souls. John, you think if I kill my mule, I could make some money? Says Master. Oh, Master, I know you could. Master ran down to the barn, killed his mule, skinned it. Next morning, he was in town bright and early. Mule skin for sale. Mule skin. I got a fresh mule skin right here for sale. Good hide. Nice mule skin for sale. Anybody? What do you give me for the mule skin? I'll give you 2 bits for it. That's like 50 cents. One man said, 2 bits? This mule skin is worth $100. All day, Master went around yelling, mule skin for sale, mule skin. I got you that nice red hot mule skin right here. Come get it while you can. And folks thought he had lost his cotton picking mind. When sundown came, Master threw the mule skin in a ditch and came home mad at John. Well, Master, I ain't tell you to go try to sell no mule skin for $100. Why, anybody knows a mule skin ain't worth more than 2 bits. I'm sorry. What's wrong, Master? These niggas about done drove you crazy. That's what it is. These niggas would drive St. Peter to sin. You need a rest. You ain't thinking straight. I'm sorry. This is one of the funniest stories I've ever read. Well, Master was so mad, he could have killed John, but he couldn't see a way he could do it and make a profit, so he let him live. A week or so later, Master just happened to be talking to another slave owner. I got a nigga on my plantation that can whoop any nigga in the world. This slave owner said, can't whoop my nigga John. I got $25,000, say he can. It's a bet, John's owner said. We'll have the match in town a month from today. Master couldn't wait for the match. He knew that John was probably going to get killed, and Master didn't mind losing $25,000 for the pleasure of watching this. Well, the news spread around the state quicker than hoof and mouth disease. It was going to be a match between the two baddest niggas in Mississippi. All the white folks was planning on coming. The governor had announced he was coming and bringing his whole family. White folks didn't like nothing better than to see two niggas in the ring fighting each other until they both just fell out. Well, John, Master said one day, "You getting ready for the fight?" John was stretching out on the grass, eating some chicken. I was ready, Master. John, where you get that chicken leg from? Strangest thing, Master. Last night, this chicken just walked in my house and I was trying to chase it out, and that chicken got so scared, it jumped in this skillet of hot grease I had on the fire. And before I could do a thing, it was all fried. So I thank the Lord for sending the chicken to a poor, honest, colored man. You know something Master John asked? Throwing the chicken bone on Master's hat brim. The Lord sure takes care of you when you live right. Master didn't say a word, but stalked off angrily. He couldn't wait to see John get a good whooping. Well, the day of the match came, and white folks were there from everywhere. There were white folks from Hanging Nigga, Mississippi, and there were white folks from Cutter Nigga, Alabama, and Burning Nigga, Georgia, and even some white folks from Co-op the Nigga, New York. The governor and his wife and daughter were there. The lieutenant governor and his family was there. The sergeant governor and his family. The corporal governor and his family. There were so many white folks there, it looked like a lynching party. About an hour before the match was to start, in come the plantation owner with his nigga Andy. Now let me tell you, this was one big nigga. He was so big and strong, they had him tied with chains. He was snorting and growling and carrying on, so they had to chain him to one of the pillars of the courthouse. He was so big, he had to stoop down at nights to let the moon go by. 4 white ladies fainted when they saw him. When John's master saw him, he began to feel sorry he made the bet. He looked at that nigga Andy and could just see John getting pulverized. John deserved a good beating, but nothing like what he was getting ready to get. Well, about 10 minutes before match time, in come John. John was dressed like he was going to his own funeral. I mean, he was cleaner than the Board of Health. Had him on a pair of black patent leather shoes with spats, some red trousers with a red coat, a white shirt, and a black string tie. Over his arm was a hand-carved cane studded with diamonds. He was wearing a Stetson hat and walking real slow, tipping his hat to everybody. John Diddy bopped down the aisle, speaking to all the white folks. "How you do, boss? Good to see you. Haven't seen you since you sold my mama. How you do, sir? Last time I saw you was the time you whipped my sister and rubbed the cuts with vinegar. That was to keep her from getting lockjaw." John was as polite as he could be, a perfect gentleman. After John had finished greeting all the white folks, he stepped out in the center and looked around. He pretended he hadn't even seen Andy, who was snorting like he had swallowed a box of snuff. John looked around until he spied the governor. Walked over to him as fast as he could, looking mean, double, triple mean. John crawled over the governor's wife, stepped on the governor, and hauled off and slapped the governor's daughter. Pow! He hit that white girl all upside the head. He hit that girl so hard, her blonde hair turned brown. He hit her so hard, she was cross-eyed for the rest of her life. Pow! He smacked her again. "Girl, didn't I tell you to stay at home and not come out here today? What do you mean disobeying me?" Pow! He smacked her one more time. Well, when that nigga Andy saw John hit that white girl, he started getting away so fast, he pulled the courthouse down, broke his chains, and from what I heard, he ain't stopped running till he got to Canada. Andy knew he couldn't whoop John because if John was bad enough to slap a white woman, John was bad enough to whoop him. The white folks were kind of upset about John slapping that white woman until they realized he had simply outsmarted everybody. Then they fell out laughing, especially the ones who had bet on John. Massa wasn't mad because the governor's daughter had said one time that his son wasn't good enough for to marry. But the governor was kind of ticked off until old Massa slipped him half of the $25,000, at which point the governor told his daughter to shut up all that screaming and hollering or he was going to smack her one time himself. John went on back to the plantation, and even though he'd won Massa all that money, he still had to get out in the fields and work the next day. John couldn't see why, so he went in the barn and broke all the plows, the hoes, poured water in the cottonseed, broke the mule's legs, told the house nigga to go tell it, and then stretched out under a big sycamore tree, put his hat over his face to keep the flies off, and went to sleep. John, you went too far this time, Massa hollered. You just went too far this time. I'm going to kill you. John didn't even take the hat off his face. Kill me, and I'll beat you making money. No, not this time, nigga. Massa shoved John in a gunny sack and drug him down to the river to throw him in. But he'd forgotten his weights and had to go back to the big house to get them. While he was gone, some of the other field niggas who'd been watching all along came out the woods, untied the sack, and let John out. They filled the sack with stones, and when Massa came back with his weights, he threw a sack of stones in the river. By that time, though, John was home finishing his nap. Later that afternoon, he got up, grabbed his mule skin, went into town to tell fortunes. Long about 6 that afternoon, he come back to the plantation, money just jingling in his pocket. John, is that you? Massa said when he saw him. I told you if you killed me, I'd beat you making money. John, yes, Massa. John, you think if I let you kill me, I can make some money? John's face was very serious as he said, Massa, I know you could. John shoved old Massa in a gunny sack, tied it up. John called to the other field niggas, and they didn't even forget their weights. They carried the sack down to the river, and just as they were getting ready to throw it in, Massa called out, you sure I'm going to make some money, John? Massa, I know you is. John called back as old Massa hit the water and sank. And that's the story of how John the Conqueror. Enough said. Woo! That was one bad shut your mouth. Shaft didn't have nothing on High John the Conqueror. This is what I'm talking about. These are kind of stories we've been telling for a long time. But, you know, the way things are in the public schools and all, you know, you can't tell these stories in school. But, hey, I can tell them all day right here on YouTube and right here on Facebook. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button below because we still got more in store because y'all ain't heard nothing yet because I ain't even got to Stagger Lee yet. Yeah, I ain't even got to Stagger Lee. Stagger Lee's next. Coming up next, the story of Stagger Lee. And we'll just see who is Stagger Lee. Some of y'all know and some of y'all don't. If Dr. Dorsey is out there, I'm over here wearing his Stagger Lee shirt today. Because Stagger Lee, that's Dr. Dorsey all day long. He's one of my old roommates. He's still around. Hopefully his sons or him see this particular segment. Check it out. Meanwhile, make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and give us a like, give us a share. Show everybody that you really do care. Spread it around all over town because it's time for us to go ahead and get down. If nobody's going to share these stories with you, I will. So we're doing it right here. I'm doing it with a thrill. All of this is designed to help y'all chill out there for a while. And just no matter how bad you think things are, just remember, it could be worse. It could be worse. And if you don't think that's true, don't vote in November. and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Okay. Peace out, without a doubt. I'm out of here.